What's up, Pretender here. A lot of people think the Fifine D6 is only for streamers, but honestly, creators, editors, programmers, and even office users can get a ton of value out of it. If you use different applications and have a hard time remembering all the keyboard shortcuts, the D6 can become one of the most useful tools on your desk, especially for the price. Today I'm going to show you how I use it with DaVinci Resolve and ZoomIt to speed up video editing and making tutorials. Let's get to it. This is the Fifine control deck software for the D6. And honestly, the customization options are almost limitless. Hopefully this will give you some ideas, though, how you can set it up for your own workflows. All right, let's get started. Up top, we have this bar over here where you can get to your plugins and your settings and your icons. So when you click on the store button, it pulls up and it takes you to the main page, just some advertisement. There's the plugins. So if there's a plugin that you don't have over here, and you're interested in some different plugins, you can use these. As you can see, there's lots of them. So like if you're a developer and you want to get this set up with VS Code, you can just install the plugin and it'll show up over here on the right. Icons. This is probably one of the areas that needs the most work. There's just not a lot of icons provided by Fifine, but you can install icons from other stream decks. It's really straightforward. If you don't want to install them, you can always just have the icon file and select the file, and it'll use that as well. Another nice thing is the tutorials. So if you're trying to figure out how to do something, there's lots of little tutorials that are just a couple of minutes long. For the settings, this is where you can reorder your scenes. You can delete them or add scenes. Some device settings, and then some general settings. Over on the right, we have all the actions that we're going to use. The Fifine control deck, this is where you have all the controls to do things like shift scenes, go to the previous page, etc. Toolbox, use these a lot, use the hotkeys a lot. If you want to launch a website, open applications, type in text, password. Audio controls audio. Operation flows, action flows is if you need it to do multiple things, just drag this on and program it all the different actions you want to use. And then these are the plugins that are installed. So I have OBS Studio. So you can see here, these are just some default things that you can do with the plugin. There's one for Streamlabs that I don't use. And then there is Discord, which I do use. When you're setting up the D6, it's pretty straightforward. You have scenes, which are over here on the left. You can add scenes, and then each scene has pages. Each page can have up to 15 actions that it can do, and you can have up to 10 pages. You can add pages. So you can have 150 different actions per scene. So if you add that up, right, like you think about it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scenes. Each scene can have 10 pages. It really is pretty much limitless. The default scene, that is there by default, and that is the scene that the D6 will boot into. So I'm on the default scene now, and as you can see, the D6 physical device itself shows exactly what's showing up on the software, which is kind of cool. So as I click through my different scenes, see the D6 changes. On the main page, what I have is really my top 15 apps that I use. Today we'll talk about DaVinci Resolve and how I use that in ZoomIt. All right, let's take a look at the DaVinci Resolve setup. So for DaVinci Resolve, I have the main icon here, and I want it to do two things when I start it. So I'll show you. I created an action flow. In the action flow, I have a hotkey and I have a scene shift. So on the hotkey, I want to start up DaVinci Resolve, which I have it in the bottom bar here is the 5th. So I just do Win 5. And then after I start up DaVinci Resolve, I want it to shift to the DaVinci Resolve scene that I have created here. So after the app starts, pops into this scene. So this is the main scene here. And if you use Resolve, this will look familiar. These are basically all the icons for the nav bar at the bottom of the screen. So I can just flip through the different pages from the nav bar using the hotkeys. The main thing that I do in DaVinci Resolve is edit video. I'm not in Fusion and not doing coloring much and using Fairlight. So for the edit, I have a scene called DaVinci Resolve Edit. Whenever I click on Edit, I go to the scene shift for the DaVinci Resolve Edit. Okay. So what I did here is it flips to this scene, And then I have all my hotkeys. This is where I have all my shortcuts. So this is where it gets interesting. These are the main keys that I'm constantly using when I'm in Resolve editing. So where this gets really powerful is if you use a lot of different applications and you can't remember the hotkeys. Like, for example, to cut with the blade, it's Control B. So that's 2 key combinations that you have to hit. Whereas now I just press the button, so it becomes a lot easier. I don't have to take my hand off of my mouse to hit Control B if I don't want to, or hit the multiple keys. Control B you can do with one hand, but there's some key combinations that take your hand off the mouse. So this just allows you to quickly just press buttons instead of hitting key combinations. So what this allows me to do is keep my left hand on the Stream Deck and then my right hand on the mouse. It makes it a lot quicker. So ZoomIt is a free Microsoft program that allows you to annotate on the screen. You saw it earlier when I was drawing on the screen talking about the application. Because it runs in the system tray for ZoomIt, all I want it to do is open up the scene called ZoomIt that I've created over here. So ZoomIt completely runs off of hotkeys. I have a hard time remembering all the hotkeys. So instead of having to have a cheat sheet, I just have this ZoomIt scene here. And when I go click on ZoomIt, it goes to the scene and it has all my hotkeys mapped. So now I don't have to remember which one's red pen, how to get into draw mode, how to erase, how to exit. I don't have to remember any of that now. I just can look. If I don't have it memorized on the D6 of which one, where it is, I just look down and it's labeled. So super, super simple. So let's look at how we add an icon. So adding icons, you just simply click on the gear here. And you can, if you have a file that you want to use, you can use that, an image file, or you can use their icon library. And so you can see here, I have libraries installed. I'm not going to show it in this video, but just know that the icons are kind of limited for the D6 in their icon library, but you can add icons from any other Stream Deck that has icon packs. So it's really straightforward. And so once you put them into the right folder, they'll show up in here. If you don't want to do that, you can just simply have the icon folder somewhere else and just select the files. But it's really kind of convenient to have them here where you can just open it up and look through them. So all you do is you just pick an icon. You can also, if you want to screen capture, so if you want to use an icon that's custom, you can screen capture and then you have some settings for the screenshot. Now that we have a walkthrough of the software, let's go ahead and start up DaVinci Resolve. So you open up an existing gameplay project in Resolve, and as you can see, the D6 automatically switched to the DaVinci scene that we had created earlier. Now we can switch to any of the tabs in the main nav bar of DaVinci Resolve by simply clicking the buttons on the D6. All right, so let's go to the Edit tab, and now we switch to the Edit tab in Resolve, and the D6 switches to our edit scene with all of our hotkeys that we have mapped. Most of the time, I am hitting play, pause, or speeding up, going backwards, cutting, deleting, and using markers to mark something of interest that I need to come back to. Scoot up, kind of watch through the video to where the action starts. So here we are getting into the action. I actually want to scoot it up a little bit more. Where we land. Hit the blade. Click on that. I want to ripple delete. There you go. And I want this one deleted as well. Just click part on the timeline you want deleted. Super simple. But it saves me a ton of time not having to work on the keyboard and remember shortcuts. Because on the keyboard, blade is Control B, play forward is L, I think pause is K, backwards is J. So you're all over the keyboard, whereas now my hand's just resting on here, just different buttons. Another thing that I do when I'm looking through the video is I may have something of interest that I want to come back to, so I'll just pause it and then add a marker. And then I have it to where I can cycle through my markers. So if I have a bunch of different markers, I can quickly get through them. Just going to fly through ZoomIt because we talked about it already and I showed it in the video, but let's pretend we're making a tutorial video of DaVinci Resolve. Talking and you're recording, you could use ZoomIt and you hit into draw mode. You can draw, change pen color. I have the ability to draw a rectangle. I have the ability to draw arrows, erase all. the blur pen, you can zoom. There's lots of different things you can do, but these are the common things that I have mapped. Then when you need to exit, you just hit exit mode and you're done. And then it'll take you back into DaVinci Resolve because that is the application that has focus now. All right, hope this video gave you some ideas on how to use the D6 to boost your productivity. It's way more than a Stream Deck. It removes the need to memorize a bunch of shortcuts, makes repetitive tasks way faster, and lets you instantly launch the apps and tools you see every day. On top of that, it's fully customizable, so you can build it around your workflow instead of changing your workflow to fit the device. And honestly, for the price, it's hard to beat. And if you spend a lot of time editing, creating tutorials, or working on your computer every day, it's a no-brainer. An Amazon link to the D6 and the Fifine website are in my description if you want to check it out. Also, please smash like and subscribe if the video helped you. It's free to do and it helps me a ton. See ya!